Hello, hello, hello. This is a message from the universe for December 5th, 2020. This is the rune Manaz. Now, Manaz is the rune of self. It is the starting place. It is where everything begins. But this rune of self really speaks about the preparation that's necessary as we begin any project, whether it is on something in the physical world or whether it is on ourselves. If we are going to plow the ground, we have to till it first. If we're going to plant a garden, if we are going to be in a show, we have to learn how to dance, learn how to sing, memorize the script. There is a process that goes into everything. And this reading really speaks to this process. We're going to dig into that Manaz a little bit more after I kind of give you an overview of what's going on here. This reading really speaks about you embracing the things that are great about you and accepting the things that are not so great. Now, of course, great is a relative term, but each one of us has our own discernment, judgment, self-judgment on what we are good at, bad at, what we need to fix, what we don't need to fix. Sometimes we think we don't need to fix things that we do. Woo! My kitty is chasing his little ghost friend again. Sometimes we are trying to fix things that we don't need to fix. Sometimes we are not fixing things that we do need to fix. The thing to keep in mind is that we are always manifesting. You are always creating, whether you believe it or not, whether you are trying or not. We've had this Ace of Swords reversed for the last 2 days. And it speaks about, in this direction, it's about manifestation. It's about what are you creating. It's about the change and what we are doing. In this direction, it talks about also manifesting, but are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Are you, with your own rhetoric, with your own inner narrative, creating a reality that's not so great? Even as it is reversed, this rose is growing up out of this upside down crown. So it looks like, things were bad because it's upside down, but really there is still growth going on and there is still manifestation going on. You guys, this little ghost thing is so mean because it runs through the wall behind the couch and then my cat cannot get to it. And he runs directly into the wall. Okay. Get it together. So let's go back to this Manaz for a moment. Now, when we look at this rune is a really important rune. It is the first rune in basically the cycle of initiation of growth. The starting point is always the self. But when we take it apart, it has multiple other runes hidden within its shape. So if we look at it here, we have like this. That's Dagaz, the rune of transformation, right? If we split it like this, that's Wunjo, the rune for joy. And there's both sides, so we have the balance of them. If we do this, it's Isa, which is the rune for solitary, for ice, for standstill. And we have 2 of those, once again, creating a balance. We have, if you take away the 2 Isas, we have Gibo. Gibo is the rune of a gift, of a partnership with yourself in this rune, a partnership with yourself. And we have, if you take away this little thing and this little thing, we have a Waz and a Waz right there. That is the rune for movement and progress. And there is so much packed into this one rune when it comes to focus. They talk about finding something to focus on or meditating on a topic. This Manaz is one of those things that you can actually look at, dig into the meanings for all the different shapes, and then really think of how they all intertwine. And in this reading, it kind of feels like that's what they're doing. They're intertwining with it. This tower moment where it feels like everything is falling apart, it feels like everything is crashing down, we all know that that tower moment is a way to rebuild what has been happening. And these rebuilding, it takes time. It takes time. You have to be a little bit patient. You have to not expect everything to come together right this very moment for your growth. A friend of mine and I used to say that it took us 40 something years to get this messed up. It's going to take us a minute to get unwound. It's going to take us a minute to undo that conditioning of so many years, and that's okay. This Four of Swords, it's okay for you to just lay back, take a chill, take a moment, take a breath, take a smoke, take a choke, just hold for a second and be in that moment. Be the Isa, like in this Manaz, and just chill in this tower moment for a minute. You don't have to fix everything right away. If you take a moment and actually look at it, look at the relationship with yourself, look at what you said to that other person or your own reaction to what was happening. And rather than trying to justify your reaction, try to figure out why you had that reaction instead. That is this King of Cups energy. That is this energy of learning about your emotions, digging into those spaces where we react, and instead of reacting, sitting still in that moment. The King of Cups is really about gaining a control over your emotions that actually changes you. And it sounds, some people will try to gain control over their emotions by hiding them, by mashing them down, by not looking at them. But this guy is looking right out into the room. He's got a little half smile on his face. He's been through some shit. He's got the little, prison tear. He's been through some shit, but he's got a handle on his emotions now. He's got an understanding of where they come from. And he knows when it is time to act on those emotions and when it is time to wait, when it is time to sit with them while we figure out what the next thing is. Because remember, you are always manifesting something. Wouldn't you rather manifest something that you are mindful about and paying attention to instead of something that you are out of control over, or something that you feel like like you're helpless against? That is the space of this Manaz and this reading. We have our amethyst, our raw amethysts here, both of them. And I also, which I usually don't pull this many stones, but I also grabbed my rose quartz, which for me is about unconditional love of self. Mine is the perfect shape to just put in my hand and grip. And when I'm feeling a little bit sad or weak or hurt or I'm being mean to myself, I can just hold on to that and it helps me to gain that control. And the other stone that came out was my Picasso jasper, and this one I keep in my rune bag. It's all about creativity. It's all about taking the world and making it into your own creation. One of the shows that I do is called You Are Your Own Masterpiece, and it speaks about there is like when you go to college and art is one of your disciplines, they ask you to create a masterpiece, not a masterpiece, a masterpiece. And it's like basically the culmination of your entire education you put into one project so that they can see that you have learned, that you have, that you're worthy of the diploma, right? Our lives are this masterpiece. And what we put into it, the time that we take on it, the way that we look at it, and the way that we feel about ourselves is then reflected in this masterpiece that is our life, and the whole world is looking at it all the time. But the only person that matters is you. You are the only viewpoint that matters about your masterpiece, because it's your art. So it doesn't matter if anyone else looks at it and likes it. It's about you liking it. It's about it being a reflection of you. This menage is really about digging in to you, who you are, why you do things, what your motivations are, and how you can take those and pull them in to a shift in your life that represents where you want to be. I know this is not easy stuff. It is simple stuff, but it is not easy stuff. Being human is not always a very smooth ride, but it's definitely an exciting ride. And I'm grateful every day to be on this journey, and especially with you. You are beloved, you matter, and you are so very loved.